Boom! What is up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Bitcoin and our favorite Bitcoin miner, Riot Blockchain. These two have definitely been picking up lately when it comes to price action, and although I always love to see our OGs looking strong, the question remains, not only for these two, but actually for the markets as a whole, and that question is, can this strength persist, and if so, for how long? So we'll do our best to answer that question here today. In front of us is TradingView, where we will kick it off by taking a look at Bitcoin on the charts. After we look at Bitcoin, establish our technical view on Bitcoin, we will then move on to the S&P 500 or the SPY on the charts, simply because the price action of Bitcoin miners is a combination of Bitcoin and the equity markets when it comes to performance. So we'll move on to the SPY after that, give you guys my quick take on the S&P 500, the king of the US equity markets when it comes to a short-term time horizon, and then we'll close it out by taking a look at good old Riot Blockchain. Okay, so that's the chart, you guys. Before we dive into Riot on the charts, I do have a little content recommendation to share with you. It is an interview that was just released this morning, at the day of recording at least, Friday, July 15th. And this is a Yahoo Finance interview with the CEO of Riot Blockchain, Mr. Jason Les. So this is a little long. We won't be watching this together, but I will touch on this a little more and my thoughts on it before we dive into Riot on the charts. All right, so before we get into Bitcoin though, I want to read you guys the quick little piece that I wrote on BTC in this morning's newsletter, and of course we will expand from here as we dive into the charts. Okay, so Bitcoin is leading the cryptocurrency market in some relief, and it's finally on the verge of testing long-term resistance. Again, let's take a look at that right after this. The test of this significant trend line is only a few percent away, and if we see it, we'll likely see it soon. In the case that Bitcoin can close a daily candle above this line of resistance, then the king could start picking up some steam again. But until then, I have no choice but to edge on the side of caution. Video coming soon. We are in the video, and once again, we will definitely be expanding on why I have to edge on the side of caution, but why there is some potentially very exciting price action on the horizon right now. Before we do, you guys, if you want to know how I'm personally trading names like Riot Blockchain, names like Bitcoin, all the other growth stocks that I'm excited about on a daily basis, and you want some daily breakdowns of plays that are important to Waves Capital, to the Waves fam, this is just the example of this morning's price targets newsletter. We have Roblox, Tesla, we have the S&P 500, and then we close it out, of course, with Riot Blockchain. So if you guys want a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, all of my call options, stock positions, cryptocurrency positions, which I do update every single trading day and alert you over at Waves Capital with the trades I've made, and you'll also receive my 3 daily newsletters, the first of which is my trade alert newsletter, followed by my macro analysis, and lastly, the price targets, which is this bad boy right here. Okay, so if you guys want to join Waves Cap for real, that is going to be $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. First link in the description box down below. Appreciate it if you check it out. If so, welcome to the team. And if not, no worries. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like it. But I appreciate you watching this video right here, right now. Let's dive into Bitcoin on the charts, okay? So, as I touched on in this puppy right here, Bitcoin is approaching very, very soon the line of resistance that it's been facing since April of 2022. So for months, Bitcoin has been struggling under this long-term line of resistance. We can take a look here. Let's zoom out. Touch point here. Multiple touch points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, really crawling under it before that big sell-off that we saw in early June. And right now, for the first time in a very, very long time, we're finally approaching that line of resistance again, okay? So Bitcoin, as all of you know by now, has been looking pretty sleepy over the past couple of months, along with the rest of the market. But things could get exciting in the case that we are able, as I said in the newsletter once again, to close a daily candle above this line of long-term resistance right here. Okay, so how far is that? So that is going to be, boom, from current levels, about 2.5%. So by the time a lot of you guys watch this, we're currently sitting just under 21K. And of course, you guys, as the days progress, by the end of this weekend, we're pretty much going to be dancing right on top of it, even if we just trade sideways. But just know, you guys, keep an eye on this long-term line of resistance, because in the case that Bitcoin is able to break this, that is good news not only for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market, but of course crypto equities as well, like good old Riot Blockchain, which we'll dive into after a quick look at the S&P 500. So short term, I'm gonna give you guys a look at the SPY. We closed out the week with some relief following some honestly bad earnings from the banks, and I will be making a macro video this Sunday, kind of touching on the chaotic nature of the macroeconomic environment right now and the way the markets are reacting to what is objectively bad news. But that will be on Sunday. I just made the newsletter today. But anyway, the S&P 500, although we closed out the week with a little bit of relief, the S&P is still in pretty bad shape. Okay, you guys. So short term, S&P is in what is kind of a descending, I mean, this is a weird pattern, you guys. It was in this kind of symmetrical triangle pattern, broke below it. That was a little bear trap right there. We did reclaim it as we closed out the trading week. Again, just today we were able to reclaim this, and it may seem optimistic, and investors could feel optimistic right now, especially with Bitcoin and crypto looking strong at the moment. But the reality is that there is still a lot of resistance. You can see this line of short-term resistance right here. This yellow line is still in play. That's coming up very soon. In what is that, like just under 1%. So in under 1%, we have short-term resistance, or that yellow line coming into play. Zoom out, we have a pretty significant line of a long-term resistance that is definitely going to act as such for the S&P, as it has since that same initial touch point for Bitcoin's long-term line of resistance that it's approaching, the S&P is approaching as well. Okay, so multiple touch points here. Every trader and their mom is looking at this line of resistance right here, and of course, once again, on top of this red long-term line of resistance, there is the yellow short-term resistance, and again, that's coming up. These are two very significant lines of resistance coming up within the next percent or two. So when it comes to next week, and again, I will include this in kind of the Sunday stock watch-ish newsletter, macro newsletter I record this weekend, or not newsletter, but video I record this Sunday. Maybe we see another percent or two come next week. That is good news for Bitcoin. Once again, for Bitcoin miners, considering Bitcoin miners price action is the combination of Bitcoin and the equity markets overall, which once again is why we're looking at the S&P 500. So maybe we see a little bit more upside. In the case that the SPY and Bitcoin can break these lines of long-term resistance, then things can get exciting. And I will definitely cool it on my personal bearish sentiment and definitely reconsider the potential for short to medium term bullish price action. But until we're able to break these trend lines, it's not looking too hot. But speaking of a broken trend line, of a broken macro trend line and a long-term reversal, Riot has finally broken a very significant trend line, and we will zoom out and take a look at the significance of this little orange stick figure trend line right after we take a look at this, which once again I recommend you guys check out. I'll include the link down in the description box below, but in case I forget to do that, you can just type in Yahoo Finance Riot Blockchain CEO. This interview was just released, so it should be at the very top. And this is a great interview. I'm not going to get into the semantics of it just because I'll let you guys watch it for yourself and really learn from Jason Les, who, as I've said many times in the past, is a CEO that I've respected for a long time. And that's why Riot Blockchain has always been my number one horse in the race and was always the stock that I chose to hold from 2017 to now. Like all the other Bitcoin miners that have come and gone from my personal portfolio, at least from the Waves Capital portfolio. But Riot Blockchain has been is the longest held position in my personal portfolio. I've read this thing from, $1 to the cents, to when we were even like 70, 80 cents, all the way up to 80. And again, obviously there was some trading done along the way, but my initial position that was built in Riot in terms of common shares is still standing there, and a big part of it is because of the competency of their CEO, Jason Les. So go check out this video, you guys. Again, not going to dive into the specifics of it. They have the full breakdown here, but I don't really want to read over that with you guys. Go watch it for yourself, and let me know in the comments down below what you thought about it, because if you're invested in Riot Blockchain, if you like Riot Blockchain as much as I do, it's almost necessary for you as an investor to go watch this video. So go watch the video and let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's good from like everything I heard here, positive when it comes to fundamentals. Their growth is still looking strong. But again, this video, we're focusing on the technicals. And right now, Riot Blockchain is in a technical breakout. Okay, so this orange line, little stick figure line, doesn't look very significant when we're on the 4 hour. But if we zoom out, let's go to some daily candles and really zoom out here. Okay, when we zoom out, we can see that Riot has been under this long-term line of resistance since the high we saw back in November of 2021, back in the good old days at 45 bucks. It's crazy how much has changed in less than a year. But that's the nature of the game, you guys. That's the nature of cycles. And if you're still here, if you're still standing, then you are probably going to be here for the remainder of time, and you're probably going to be a very wealthy individual. So just remember that. If you're here after the dust settles, after all the carnage is over, you're one of the few, and you're one of the strong. Okay, so just always look in the mirror, remind yourself of that. Okay, so Riot Blockchain has finally broken, again, a very, very significant line of long-term resistance. First touch point here, 2021, actually, no, it wasn't even the 2021 high, huh? 2021 high was back in good old February of 2021 at 80 bucks, which is insane. But November of 2021 high, again, first touch point. Next touch point here at that little bounce in late March at 22 bucks. And now, finally, which we've been, again, if you guys have been following the newsletter and our frequent updates on Riot Blockchain, we've been waiting for this moment for quite some time now, and it's finally occurred. Closed a 4 hour, which is good. Closed a daily, which is even better. And we closed the week, which is, I mean, a pretty much a line in the sand of a macro reversal above this line of long-term resistance. Now, is it possible that in the case that Bitcoin and the equity markets falter over the weekend or over the beginning of next week, that Riot falls as well? 100%. It absolutely is. And I'm definitely not discounting that as a possibility. But objectively, the fact that Riot has officially, once again, closed pretty much every time frame above this line of resistance is bullish, is objectively bullish from a technical perspective. And I do think, while I am still cautiously optimistic and definitely still hesitant on just the macroeconomic environment right now, as you guys know, I do think it's possible that Riot, considering it's so ridiculously oversold, can begin to make its way up to my short to medium term. I would say medium. I'll say medium-term price target, not short-term, but medium-term. Over the next month or so, next couple of months, I do think Riot can begin to make its way back up to $9 to close the gap that we saw in early May. Okay, from there, I do think it's possible to come up here and test 975, make our way back up to double digits, just because, I mean, Riot is still, once again, a very competent company with a very bright future, in my opinion. But again, you guys, the macro is still scary. We do still have some hurdles to cross in order for me to be sold on the upside. And those questions will be answered soon. So I'm sorry there wasn't a more definitive answer today, but there are reasons to start getting excited. And of course, I will keep you guys posted. So let me know in the comments down below, once again, what you think of this video. Let me know if you've been accumulating Riot shares like I have, around the $4 to $5 range. And let me know what you think about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, crypto-related equities, and just the equity markets in general down below. Always love hearing feedback from you guys, and I'll catch you guys downstairs in the comments. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.